So, One Piece. Yeah, that one. This manga turned anime series with a whopping 1,000 plus episodes and however many manga chapters and volumes it's had for over its long-standing status of staying relevant, I also refuse to watch it. I mean, come on, that's a lot of grounds to cover all over again, and me not being a 4-kids kid anymore, I don't exactly have all the time in the world to lollygag. Luckily enough, I have enough understanding of the series, its lore and background in order to play this underrated spin-off. One Piece World Seeker. This game that was released years ago, and at first I was thinking it was just another One Piece Dynasty Warriors-like game. To my surprise, it wasn't. This game was going to go for that open world genre, and that alone hooked me in easy. And this game alone is a great idea, but sadly wasn't in the favor for even the most casual or die-hard One Piece fans. This is One Piece World Seeker, the underrated spin-off, or at least after playing and putting many hours into this game, that is how I view this title. Now, while I do feel the game has a lot good to it, it does have some reasonable negatives that make the game a little lackluster in a few areas, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. For the story of the game, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was going to invest my time into it, but in the end, this is how most of the cutscenes came about. Yeah, you can really see I really cared for most of it all. And frankly, it's not the story being bad. I mean, it's One Piece. And I also don't mean that in a good way. The series I lost interest in after growing up a few ages to see its departure from 4-kids and transfer to Toonami. And at that point, if you didn't have cable TV like I did, well, missing one episode out of 1,000 plus episodes, you'd be surprised how much you'll be missing out on. And also because, I mean, voice acting, it's like, you know, I don't mind them having a little or whatever, but it's like, I'm about to read all of that. I can read something as long as I'm hearing voices being actually spoken, but for the most part, the pre-rendered cutscenes were pretty cool. But overall, it's just not my thing to fully invest myself to, but I have enough knowledge to get the context for the series. But for the most part, Luffy and the Straw Hats come to this island, and a good portion, if not all of the crew members, were captured and imprisoned. Luffy, being notorious as he is, was sent to the Sky Prison. Prison in the sky, very self-explanatory. Knowing how he is, proceeds to jump from said Sky Prison and brush it off like another regular episode while being the talking point for the citizens on the island below. The big overall to the story is, oh yeah, spoilers for this or probably 4.5-year-old game, but really it's nothing you couldn't piece together from the start. Real story plot reasoning going on behind the scenes is that this big butt cheek man is pulling some shady strings. This man is Isaac. He is the warden of the Sky Prison as well as an overseer for the island dwellers below. Most of the people of the island are split between wanting to be pro-navy or pro-pirate or something. Free thinkers, I think that was their cause or something. Isaac the butt cheek man himself has a sister named Jean, and I wonder what their father must have looked like. Jean acts like a caretaker and a big motherly figure for those living on the island, the role she took after the demise of losing her mother to the Navy whilst protecting the secrets to the strong stone material native to this island. After that loss, her brother cuts ties with Jean in order to join the same Navy that took out their mother. Makes sense. But from there, the story already spills out what's bound to be at play here, and if you don't know, well, I'll just spill it out for you. Isaac has lost his ways, goes out to seek vengeance by joining the Navy ranks in order to uncover the secrets of said stone nobody knows the origin of, while calling upon every major relevant Navy major officer that most of the Straw Hat crews have already encountered, their people, in order to use those same stones to blow up everyone on the island. Navy, pirate, anti-Navy, and even his own sister, like, just to fulfill his goal of avenging his mother. Now can you see why I kind of clocked out of the story for a bit? Like, look, by no means should this steer you away from the game. Still an experience to have and enjoy. And I mean, come on, you think a plumber saving a princess from a turtle needs or has to be deep in order to change all of gaming? But regardless of how I feel about the brother turned anti-unsung hero revenge backstory, what the pre-rendered cutscene showcased, it gave me that classic One Piece nostalgia I had, especially with the Jean and Luffy graveyard scene. No, I haven't talked a lick about the gameplay yet. For the most part, people deserve to know and understand the foundation this game has, for as wacky as a series One Piece is, it can and will have its moments of having genuine depth. In the finisher of Luffy placing his hat onto Jean and basically having a true heart-to-heart with her and understanding the relatability of having a sibling to care and look out for, really pulls on the heartstrings, and that nostalgia hits just as hard as Nico Robin screaming to Luffy that she wants to live, Luffy refusing to eat anything but Sanji's cooking when he leaves, Luffy and Usopp having a childish friend falling out, and Usopp having his little persona type man, whatever the hell he was, just to still be around with the crew, and even Frankie acting like his balls are being crushed while in truth he's just crying and trying to save face. Kind of forgot what that was all about, but you know, it was pretty cool. Yes, this game's story is on the bland and generic tropey side, but that doesn't mean it wasn't handled well here. Hell, after all those scenes, it kind of made me want to pick the series back up. Almost. Hey, I'm still not willing to binge watch 1,000 plus episodes. That's just madness. The gameplay for this game lacks a bit of that anime flair you'd expect, and for the most part, like any other game that promotes giving the player a power fantasy of some sorts, oh, for the most part, the cutscenes do stay tried and true to what the characters can do. For the gameplay itself, I kinda liked it for its simple execution, though I wish it still had more. Yeah, sure, most of it that I'll show you is gonna look very mid, even for 2019 standards, but for what it's worth, when you get the hang of things and you line up a strategic chain of attacks to the enemies your way, you get that awesome feeling of, yeah, I just did that. I feel badass right now. And the only thing that can really take away that feeling is when you're traversing and then you're trying to swing about through the city, and then you just get that one asshole with an aimbot to snipe you from your free-flowing movement. So one gripe I will say is the whole action RPG route the game took. I have no issues with skill trees, leveling up, and the progressive system of attaining new abilities as a means of leveling up, but man, this takes what feels like an eternity to actually get them. But oddly enough, I kind of like that aspect about it too. Given who Luffy is at this point in, I guess, the manga and the anime, well, at least as far as 2019 is concerned, knowing that he can use stuff like his fourth gear ability and moves, and with the marketing I remember the game doing, it really didn't live up to whatever hype it was trying to build up to. And I feel bad for whoever worked on this game with full passion intact. To me, just like when the game first released, I wanted to see what they could do with an open world One Piece game, but in the end, it just became a big nothing sandwich for most people. Back to the skill tree. So first and foremost, play the game on normal difficulty. I promise you, you will not regret it, but you will regret it if you go in blind with the hardest difficulty. Hell, even if you go on a second playthrough with the hardest ability, because I don't think there's really much of a new game. Plus, I could be wrong, I just don't remember. As well as the EXP you need for the skill tree from defeating enemies, do not change at all for the difficulty you choose, and you'll have a way better time just playing on normal. But as far as skills and abilities are concerned, I'd say focus on the traversal, grapple, pulling and launching from building to building, tree to tree, and etc. first, just so you can have an advantage of a good hit to hit, then make a fast retreat when you do eventually get overwhelmed in the early parts of the game. Yeah, that's for when you first start out. You're kind of a little bitch in a new game, to be honest, and with the enemies, your lack of HP, defense, and attack power, I do have to point out that the beginning is really painful and really unforgiving to go through, but I say most of the negative things because I know how people interested in this series will have high expectations for any games that the series decides to pump out. But once you're all leveled up, abilities are to be had, the game indeed gets more fun. Does it suck that the first half of the game it's grinding for EXP while moving stealthily? Yes, but is the payoff worth it for the other half? Sure, it's how I played, and if you play your cards right, you figure out your own flow. Not one way is the true way to play this game, and since it's an open world, you have that player choice to go about your playthrough however way you see fit. Though I still recommend getting traversal abilities first to speed through the island, just so you can have mobility and not just the same stiffness of moving around and about. Plus it is still pretty fun, especially with the addition of some duck friend that Luffy has. I don't know, it wasn't in the game when I first played it, but I guess that must have been part of one of the DLCs, so hey, there's that when you're traversing the islands. Speaking of the island itself, it looks beautiful in some areas, but can look just as barren for a first open world One Piece action-based RPG. Well, I mean, it's okay, it won't wow anyone, especially with the islanders basically being copied and pasted 50 times over. Same ugly little kids, same ugly little old ladies, same hot milfs that won't stop smiling, same ugly pirates, and etc. And overall, the same character proportions that have that Oda charm to it. Speaking of Oda, I don't really know if these are Easter eggs, but I seen a few of them in some uncanny locations on the island, so you fans got that in here. But hell, that small detail shows that there was actual love put into this. It sadly was just an afterthought by most. When I picked the game back up to fully complete it after all the DLC and goodies were complete, I had an even better time with it, and sure, moments might have been janky or stiff even after hours of playing, I still enjoyed every moment to moment the game had to offer. One Piece World Seeker is a game that wanted to do something different for the series, and I guess it fell flat for many. I really hope sometime they try to go about it again, and whether they need more time or playtesting and or fixing whatever gripes people might have had with this game, I'd like to see it. But I really want another One Piece open world game that has fixes and improvements learned from this one. Maybe a few ideas from One Piece Odyssey, just keep it action-based. I still don't understand why anyone thinking turn-based for One Piece is a way to go, but hey, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But hey, it's One Piece. It's not my usual cup of tea. I do know it's around because it has popularity, even if I lost interest for it many years ago. That's a brief look at an underrated spin-off from a popular entertainment media juggernaut. Still recommend it fully as long as you take what I said to heart. But if you do decide to check it out, buy the European version if you're an English speaker. There's a cultured mission based off around like fan service and stuff like that was removed in all US versions, consoles and PC alike. There's literally no PC mods, not just to restore, but like as far as like PC mods goes, there's literally nothing for this game, which is an even bigger reason of why this game is so underrated. But yeah, there's also that if you wanted, or just look it up online because you'll know, because you know, censorship is definitely a thing. But other than that, you can also play as Zoro, Sabo, and Law in this game, which I found pretty cool. Each of their gameplay was unique, though Sabo plays similar to his brother, but be warned, playing as Zoro, they make the map pixelated as a callback to his lack of direction, but the rest of them are fine and still fun in their own way. I just had to throw that out there because I'm pretty sure most people are going to play as Zoro first and everyone else second. But yeah, that's the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. It was supposed to be more longer, but I couldn't find much of a reason nor a want to, and with procrastination, hugging my shoulder strings and all that jazz, but you know. Seriously, check the game out if you get a chance, and if you can. Until next time. Later, I guess.